Be me, Liam, 26 years old, working as a graphic designer. Been at a small but respectable marketing agency for about 3 years. The pay is decent, the work is creative, and my coworkers are cool. Our team is small, just 6 of us, so we are all pretty close. There is me, 2 other designers named Chloe and Isabel, a copywriter named Noah, a project manager named Olivia, and our boss, Jessica. Jessica is in her late 30s, sharp, ambitious, and the founder of the agency. She built it from the ground up, and for the first couple of years she was a fantastic boss. Driven, fair, and she really knew her stuff. We were a tight-knit unit, landing bigger and bigger clients. Things were good. About a year ago, Jessica went through a pretty messy divorce. We all felt for her, gave her space, picked up slack without complaining. It was tough, but we figured she would bounce back. But something changed in her after that. She started making odd comments, little jabs about men in general, usually disguised as jokes. Stuff like, of course, the guys are the first ones to the coffee machine, or leave it to a man to forget to water the plants. Noah and I would just kind of exchange glances, not really knowing how to react. It was awkward, but we brushed it off as her just venting and dealing with her personal stuff. Then it started to escalate. It became less about jokes and more about her core business philosophy. She started talking a lot about female empowerment, which is great in theory, but her version was different. It was less about lifting women up and more about pushing men down. During a team meeting, she announced a new initiative. This agency is going to become a bastion of female talent, she declared. We are going to actively prioritize hiring and promoting women. It is time for a change in this industry. Olivia, ever the diplomat, asked, "So, we will be focusing on hiring the most qualified candidate, regardless of gender, right?" Jessica's smile was tight. "We will be focusing on creating a supportive environment for women to thrive. That is our new priority." The air in the room got thick. Noah and I looked at each other again. This was more than just venting. A few months later, our biggest client, a tech company called Innovatic, needed a massive campaign overhaul. It was a huge project, the kind that could really put our agency on the map. We were all excited. Jessica called a meeting to assign the lead roles. Noah, our only copywriter, had been with the agency since the beginning. He was brilliant, fast, and had a great relationship with the Innovatic team. He was the obvious choice for lead copywriter on the project. Instead, Jessica gave the lead to Isabel. Isabel was a good designer, but she had never led a copywriting team. She had never even written copy professionally. Noah was stunned. "Jessica, with all due respect, I have been handling the Innovatic account for 2 years. I know their brand voice inside and out." Jessica waved a dismissive hand. "Noah, it is time to give the women on this team a chance to shine. Isabel has a fresh perspective. You can support her." Support her. He was the senior copywriter. The meeting ended with Noah looking like he had been punched in the gut. I caught up with him in the kitchen later. "This is insane, right?" he asked me, his voice low. "It's something," I said, not wanting to cause trouble but also not wanting to lie to my friend. "She's sidelining me because I am a man, Liam, I know it." I couldn't even argue with him. It was starting to feel that way to me too. The Innovatic project was a mess from the start. Isabel was overwhelmed. She was a designer, not a writer. The copy she was producing was generic and full of corporate jargon that the Innovatic guys hated. Noah tried to help, offering suggestions and edits, but his support was always filtered through Isabel, who then presented it as her own. The clients were getting antsy. We had a conference call with them and it was brutal. Their marketing head, a guy named David, was not pleased. "This doesn't sound like us," he said bluntly. "The voice is all wrong. What happened to Noah?" "We have always worked with him directly." Jessica jumped in, all smooth and corporate. "Noah is in a support role on this project. We are leveraging Isabel's fresh creative direction. David was silent for a moment. I could practically hear him raising an eyebrow through the phone. Okay, he said slowly. Well, this fresh direction isn't working. We need a course correction fast. That call should have been a wake-up call for Jessica. It wasn't. Instead, she doubled down. In our next team meeting, she announced we were hiring a new project manager to help with the increased workload. A few of us had friends in the industry we thought would be great fits. I suggested my old college roommate, a guy who was now a senior project manager at a big agency and was looking for a change of pace. Jessica didn't even look at his resume. We are only accepting applications from female candidates, she said, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. This time, Olivia spoke up more forcefully. Jessica, that's not legal. We can't exclude candidates based on gender. We could get sued. Jessica's eyes went cold. Are you questioning my leadership, Olivia? I am questioning the legality of your hiring practices, Olivia shot back. The two of them had a tense stare down before Jessica finally said, I am the owner of this agency. I will make the hiring decisions. Olivia leaned back in her chair, shaking her head in disbelief. The work environment, which used to be so collaborative and fun, turned toxic. There was a clear divide. Jessica favored the female employees, giving them the best assignments, the most praise, and the most opportunities. Noah and I were treated like second-class citizens. Our ideas were dismissed. Our contributions were overlooked. Jessica would have women-only brainstorming sessions, claiming they were for sisterly support. Noah and I were left to handle the boring, tedious tasks that no one else wanted. Morale plummeted. Chloe and Isabel, who were once our friends, started to distance themselves from us. They were clearly uncomfortable, but they were also the ones benefiting from Jessica's new regime, so they didn't say anything. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Every day felt like walking on eggshells. The final straw for Noah came a few weeks later. A new, exciting client, a sustainable fashion brand, came on board. Noah was passionate about sustainable fashion and had a whole portfolio of spec work he had done for similar brands in his spare time. He was practically begging to be put on the account. Jessica gave it to Chloe, who had zero interest in fashion and even less knowledge about sustainability. Noah confronted Jessica in her office. I was at my desk right outside, so I heard the whole thing. Why, Jessica? He asked, his voice strained. You know I am the perfect fit for this. You saw my portfolio. Chloe needs the experience, Jessica said calmly. I have the experience. I have the passion. She doesn't even want it. This is not up for discussion, Noah. My decision is final. Noah walked out of her office, his face pale. He went straight to his desk, packed up his personal belongings in a small box, and walked over to my desk. I am done, Liam, he said quietly. I can't do this anymore. He put in his 2 weeks' notice that afternoon. Jessica didn't even try to convince him to stay. She just nodded and said, I understand. We wish you the best. Losing Noah was a huge blow to the agency. He was our only copywriter, and he was damn good. Jessica didn't seem to care. This is a great opportunity, she announced to the rest of us. Now we can hire a talented female copywriter to round out our team. She put out a job ad that was so blatantly skewed towards female applicants that it was almost comical. Words like goddess, sisterhood, and female-centric were sprinkled throughout. Unsurprisingly, they didn't get many qualified applicants. The one they did hire, a woman named Maya, was fresh out of college with a portfolio full of poetry and short stories. She had no marketing experience whatsoever. Our clients noticed the drop in quality immediately. The copy was weak, the messaging was inconsistent, and deadlines were being missed left and right. Meanwhile, the innovative project was still a dumpster fire. David, the marketing head, was at the end of his rope. He called for an emergency in-person meeting. Jessica, Olivia, Isabel, and I went to their corporate headquarters. The meeting was a bloodbath. David laid out all the issues, the missed deadlines, the subpar work, the complete lack of understanding of their brand. "I don't know what happened to you guys," he said, looking genuinely bewildered. "You used to be our go-to agency. Now I am not so sure." Jessica tried to smooth things over, but her usual corporate charm wasn't working. David wasn't buying it. "Here's the deal," he said, leaning forward. "We have a huge product launch in 2 months. We need a killer campaign. If you can't deliver, we will find someone who can. And we are pulling Noah back onto this project as a freelance consultant, paid directly by us." Jessica's face was a mask of fury. She had been completely undermined in front of her own team, but she had no choice. Innovatic was our biggest client. Losing them would be catastrophic. "Fine," she hissed through gritted teeth. So Noah came back, but not as an employee, as an outside consultant who answered directly to the client. It was the most awkward, passive-aggressive work environment you can imagine. Noah would send his copy directly to David at Innovatic. David would approve it and then forward it to us to be implemented into the design. Jessica was furious, but her hands were tied. She tried to make Noah's life miserable, nitpicking his work, questioning his choices in front of the team. But Noah, bless his heart, was a true professional. He just ignored her and did his job. And he was killing it. The campaign started to take shape, and it was brilliant. The client was happy for the first time in months, but Jessica couldn't stand it. She couldn't stand that a man she had pushed out, was saving her biggest account. Her resentment towards me, the only other male left in the agency, intensified. She started micromanaging my work, criticizing every design choice, and generally making my life a living hell. It was clear she wanted me gone too. She was trying to create a hostile environment so I would quit, just like Noah. But I am stubborn. And honestly, I needed the job. So I just kept my head down and did my work. Things came to a head when we lost another major client, a local restaurant chain we had worked with for years. Their owner, a friendly older gentleman named Mr. Chen, called Jessica personally to tell her they were moving on. He was polite but firm. "The quality has slipped," he told her. "The personal touch is gone. It just doesn't feel like the same agency anymore." Losing that account sent shockwaves through the office. It was a clear sign that our reputation was taking a nosedive. That afternoon, Olivia, our project manager, walked into Jessica's office and closed the door. Their argument was loud enough for everyone to hear. Olivia laid it all out: the discriminatory hiring, the toxic environment, the decline in quality, the loss of clients. "You are running this company into the ground, Jessica," she yelled. "All because of some personal vendetta against men." Jessica fired her on the spot. Olivia packed her things and walked out without a word to anyone. She just gave me a sad, sympathetic look on her way out the door. Now we had lost our best copywriter and our only project manager. The ship was sinking, and fast. The next day, Chloe and Isabel, the 2 designers who had been Jessica's golden children, came to my desk. They looked nervous. "We need to talk," Chloe said. "We went to a coffee shop down the street. They both looked miserable." "We are so sorry, Liam," Isabel said, her eyes welling up with tears. "We know this has been horrible for you and Noah." "We were just scared." "Scared of what?" I asked. "Of Jessica," Chloe said. "She's so unpredictable. We saw what happened with Olivia. We have bills to pay. We couldn't afford to get on her bad side." I understood, but it didn't make it any less frustrating. "So what now?" I asked. "We are quitting," Isabel said. "Both of us. We have already found new jobs. We can't work in that environment anymore. It's not right." I was shocked. I never thought they would have the guts to leave. "What about the Innovatic project?" I asked. "The launch is in a few weeks. That's the other reason we are telling you this, Chloe said. We want to help you. Their plan was simple but brilliant. They were going to give their 2 weeks' notice on the same day. That would leave me as the only designer left at the agency, right in the middle of our biggest project ever. It would give me all the leverage. What do you want, Liam? Isabel asked. What's your end game here? I had to think about it. I didn't want to see the agency fail. I had put 3 years of my life into it. I liked the work and I used to love the team. I want things to go back to the way they were, I said. I want it to be about the work, not about gender. I want it to be a place where everyone is respected. That's not going to happen with Jessica in charge, Chloe said. She was right. As long as Jessica was there, her toxic ideology would poison everything. So what am I supposed to do? I asked. You and Noah should start your own agency, Isabel said. You have the talent. You have the client relationships. You could do it. The idea was terrifying and thrilling, starting my own business. I had never even considered it, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Noah was the best copywriter I knew. I had a good reputation as a designer, and most importantly, we had the client's trust. Maybe we could actually pull this off. I called Noah that night and told him everything. He was quiet for a long time. Are you serious? He finally asked. Dead serious, I said. Let's do it, he said, a new energy in his voice. Let's burn it all down and build something better. The next day, Chloe and Isabel handed in their resignations. Jessica was blindsided. She panicked. She had lost her entire design team except for me right before the biggest launch in the company's history. She called me into her office. She was a different person. Gone was the arrogant, dismissive boss. In her place was a desperate, pleading woman. Liam, I need you, she said. I know things have been tense lately, but we can fix this. I will give you a raise, a promotion, anything you want. Just please don't leave. This was my moment. I took a deep breath. It's not about a raise, Jessica, I said, my voice steady. It's about respect. It's about the fact that you pushed out our best people because of their gender. You created a toxic environment that has driven away clients and employees. She started to cry. I was just trying to create a safe space for women, she sobbed. You didn't create a safe space, I said. You created a hostile one for everyone. I told her I was leaving. I told her Noah and I were starting our own agency. And I told her we were taking the Innovatic account with us. I had already spoken to David. He was thrilled. We are not hiring an agency, he had told me. We are hiring people, and we want to work with you and Noah. Jessica was devastated. She begged, she pleaded, she threatened to sue, but she had nothing. Her entire creative team was gone. Her biggest client was gone. Her reputation was in tatters. The day I left, the office was a ghost town. Just Jessica and the new, inexperienced copywriter Maya. I actually felt a pang of pity for her. She had built this amazing thing, and she had destroyed it with her own bitterness and prejudice. Starting our own agency was the hardest and most rewarding thing I have ever done. Noah and I worked out of my tiny apartment for the first 6 months. We worked 14-hour days, fueled by coffee and the sheer terror of failure. But we had a mission. We wanted to build a company based on talent, not gender, on collaboration, not division, on respect, not resentment. Innovatic was our first client. The product launch was a massive success. David was so happy with our work that he put us on retainer and recommended us to a bunch of other tech companies. Word started to spread. We were the new kids on the block, the small, agile agency that was doing amazing work. A few months later, we got a call from Olivia, our old project manager. She had heard what we were doing and wanted in. We hired her on the spot. Then we hired Chloe and Isabel. Our old team was back together, minus one key person. We were a family again, and our business was thriving. We moved into a real office. We hired more people. We made sure our hiring process was fair and unbiased. We hired the best people for the job, regardless of their gender, race, or anything else. And it worked. Our team was diverse, talented, and passionate, and our clients loved us. About a year after I left, I heard that Jessica's agency had gone under. She had lost her remaining clients and couldn't afford to keep the lights on. I didn't feel happy or vindicated. I just felt sad. Sad that someone with so much potential had let her personal pain turn into a poison that destroyed everything she had built. It was a cautionary tale. A reminder that true strength doesn't come from tearing others down, but from lifting everyone up. Our agency is still going strong. We have won awards. We have a waiting list of clients. But the thing I am most proud of is the culture we have built. A culture of mutual respect where everyone has a voice and the best ideas win, no matter who they come from. We didn't set out to be a male-owned agency or a female-owned agency. We just set out to be a good one, and that has made all the difference.